Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Jennifer. We are a middle-aged couple with a Regal Unlimited subscription, a deep fetish for movie popcorn, and maybe about 5 brain cells.
Well, we had more like a couple hours ago. So we're making a video for every movie we see together in 2025. And we're not associated with the Real Corporation in any way, especially after tonight, because they showed us a movie.
Today was the mystery movie. It is Monday.
Yeah, today was the Monday mystery movie, and the movie was Roofman with C-Tate's, my fave, and yours. Channing Tatum.
I'm not gonna live long enough actually to understand him in many ways, but that's okay.
I don't get him either, but he's fine. I like Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst
She's in
and
this movie.
a bunch of other people.
Ben Mendelsohn?
Ben Mendelsohn and Uzo Aduba
Yeah.
as the pastor and first lady of a church.
And Lakeith
That was
Stanfield.
amazing. Lakeith Stanfield and Juno Temple.
Lakeith Stanfield dropping N-bombs in this, what I assume is a PG movie, isn't it?
I don't think it was.
Was it R?
I think it was R.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why.
Of course it was R. Channing Tatum's naked ass was in it.
You can show Channing Tatum's ass on a dollar bill. Nobody has a problem with that.
They do when it comes to a PG movie. I promise you, a PG movie does not.
PG.
Or PG-13 does not have
You
nudity.
can have one Channing Tatum butt in a PG-13 movie.
I do not believe that to be true.
I think that's true.
Well, you have one Channing Tatum butt in every Channing Tatum movie. I
That's
understand that is a requirement, and that's fine. And that might have been the best part of the movie. So
as usual, we're dancing around the fact of whether we liked this movie or not, because honestly, it wasn't that bad. We've seen a lot worse.
Sure.
We've seen worse Monday mystery movies.
Sure.
We've seen worse movies in general.
Yes, I think I enjoyed this more than I liked One Battle After Another, but that actually is not saying much.
That's not a reflection on the quality of the movie either.
Yeah.
One Battle After Another was a much better movie. It just wasn't very fun.
That was not my problem with it, but that's okay.
This movie was... there were moments of fun. So, anyway, it's about a guy who breaks out of prison.
It's a true story. It's not just that he broke out of prison, it's why he went in the first place.
Okay. Well, we don't need to tell the whole... I don't think
Yes, we do. Nobody is going to see this movie.
We don't need to do spoilers for Roofman. It's not that interesting.
Okay, but then what are we talking about if we're not talking about the plot?
What's in the trailer. So this is a guy who was robbing McDonald's, needed to go on the run, ended up living in a Toys R Us for 6 months. And I like stories about people breaking out of prisons and figuring out ways around security and so on. I like the idea of human ingenuity kind of overcoming mechanical resistance, right? So I like the idea of a movie about how this guy survived and what he had to do to kind of stay out of sight and so on. This is not that movie. Like, there's a little bit of that in here, and that I enjoyed. The rest of the movie is mostly a rom-com about Channing Tatum and Kirsten Dunst. And yeah, I mean, it's apparently much more accurate to the true story than I was going to give it credit for.
Yeah.
This is clearly the filmmakers thought this was an interesting story and wanted to tell it. But then they just get bogged down in this really slog of a romance between the two of them, and it doesn't go anywhere.
So I feel like I saw a different movie.
Okay.
So I'm sorry. There's no way to talk about this without spoiling
Fine, we'll do spoilers.
Okay, come on. The people that we know are going to watch this thing are not going to go see this movie.
Okay.
So the guy is Roofman because he breaks into businesses through the roof and steals money, right? So he knocks over 45 McDonald's and Burger Kings and whatever, climbs in through the roof. He's there when the employees come to open the store. He locks them in the fridge or in the freezer or whatever in the fridge, but is nice about it, steals the money, goes off, right? So he finally gets caught, goes to jail, ends up, I guess he didn't knock over 45 places because he got 45 years in jail.
No, they could only prove that he had knocked over the one place.
Right, and they
so
gave him...
They gave him 3 kidnapping charges.
Right, for the people that he put
in the freezer.
Yeah, so that was going to give him like 45 years in jail or something. And then he dips out of jail in a creative way. Right? Great. So he decides not to try and run as far away as he can. He stays reasonably nearby. He had a family, had a wife and 3 kids. The wife is like, yeah, screw you. When she was already kind of done with him anyway at the beginning of the movie, and then they sort of seem to like reconcile, and then he gets arrested for doing all these crimes because they reconciled, because all of a sudden he like was able to bring home the bacon. The bacon was the bacon he stole from Mickey D's, right? So once that gig is up, he's in jail. Like,
the wife
she's
has
done
nothing
with
to
him,
do with him,
right?
Yeah.
Separates him from his kids, whatever. So then he breaks out. He ends up going to ground reasonably nearby, living in a Toys R Us, and observing what's going on in the Toys R Us.
Somehow subsisting on peanut M&Ms
Yeah.
in a moment of bizarre product placement.
Yes. Subsisting on what's in the Toys R Us. He's like washing up in the sink in the Toys R Us. He's like stuffing his feet into like women's sneakers that somehow happen to be at the Toys R Us.
I feel like they did have shoes. Like they had like baby stuff and they had like clothes.
Fine.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's living there. He's observing the people that are working there. He sees Kirsten Dunst, thinks she's cute, hears about...
she works at the Toys R Us.
She works at the Toys R Us.
Peter Dinklage plays the manager of the Toys R Us. Yeah, just an interesting role for Peter Dinklage.
Yes.
There's so many actors in this movie who just... They must have not had anything better to do.
I guess. I don't even fucking know. So, right, I forgot he was in it, right? So, you know, like, he, like, basically worms his way into her life, right? Like, he goes to her church, but, you know, basically he's living in this Toys R Us. They have such poor security that they don't notice he's there. He is stealing gazillions of dollars of shit out of this store. And nobody seems to be stressed about it until eventually, like, Peter Dinklage, who's the manager of the fucking store, starts accusing this, like, other, like, you know, loserish kind of guy of eating too many M&Ms. Doesn't ever bother to accuse him of stealing tens of thousands of dollars of other stuff.
Mostly video games.
Mostly video games that he's stealing and selling for cash. And what is he doing with this cash? No, he's not leaving town. No, he's
courting Kirsten Dunst.
He's courting Kirsten Dunst and her 2 kids.
Yes.
In a way that, to me, in this movie, what I see is a woman who has picked up, like, a stranger off the street and brought him home way too prematurely for someone who has kids at home.
Yeah.
And a guy who's being, like, so overly, like, I want to, like, buy your affection, that, you know, like, you have this exact same movie, and then this is where the guy turns out to be, like, the creep and the molester who wants to, like, sleep with a 16-year-old, which is not the case,
I
right?
wouldn't go that far, but
no, he did not want
to.
I'm not saying that that's what he wanted. I'm saying the actions of the over familiarity, like, could be a movie that goes in that direction.
Yeah.
It does not. That is not the point. He wants to make a new family, and he does.
I want to agree with you here in that clearly this movie could have gone in a much darker direction.
Yes.
And it would have been better for it, although not as fun or friendly, I don't know. But yeah, it's clear that this woman is desperate for male attention.
Yeah.
And... you know,
and he's very charming.
Affection of any kind from anyone in her life.
Right.
She's involved in her church, but she's not getting anything there, and just clearly needs somebody to come in and be her partner in life.
Yeah.
And he totally takes advantage of this.
And
ruthlessly.
He's taking advantage of it, but he also desperately needs it, right? The movie shows that basically he had a family. He did all this for his family. He stole all this money for his family.
And now he's been cut off.
Now he's been cut off with the family. So now he's out. He needs a new Insta family, right? So he goes and finds a family, and he tries to buy the family, and he's successful at buying the family, right? Like he buys the right gifts that show that he cares and understands the teenage kids.
Yeah, he buys
understands the mom.
Buys the 16-year-old girl a car
in cash, thousands of dollars, right? Like, motherfucker, have a sense of self-preservation and get the fuck out. But no, this man has no sense of self-preservation, which is the point of the whole story.
Nor
right?
does the woman.
Nor does the woman.
Yes.
And, as I said on the way home, if more women had sense of self-preservation, there wouldn't be a human species because you just wouldn't reproduce with these kind of people. But, people do, right? So, So he charms everybody around him. He creates this community. He gets involved in this church community and while living in this Toys R Us.
Ridiculous risks.
Taking ridiculous risks, right? And waiting for Lakeith Stanfield is basically this guy that he was in the military with who is living some underground life where he's creating fake IDs and passports and stuff for people. So when he breaks out, this guy has actually gone back in the military and is in Afghanistan.
That's why he has to spend 6 months.
He has to spend time waiting for him to come back. Yeah. That part of it I don't believe is true because they didn't allude to any of that in the story. Okay. So I don't think that whole line of the story is real.
Who knows?
But so he's waiting for him to come back. When he comes back, he's like, yeah, I can get you all this stuff. He takes this, gets him a new passport picture, puts this wig on him where he ends up looking like Kirk Lazarus in Tropic Thunder, which is Robert Downey Jr.'s character, where when he's in blackface, it is the same fucking wig, which was the other best part of the movie because I'm just like, oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, there's a whole montage of him trying on different wigs.
Trying on a bunch of different wigs.
Clearly was just the filmmakers being like, we have Channing Tatum.
Yeah, who likes to do goofy shit on camera.
We need to do fun things to his head.
We'll have him do goofy shit, right? So he...
So Lakeith Stanfield says you have to leave tomorrow on Christmas Day.
Well, before that, he says you got to get $50,000 for me to actually give you this ID.
Right,
which he doesn't have. So he has to do a big job.
Which is
the big job is the Toys R Us, right? So he robs the Toys R Us.
He severely injures the security guard. Terrorizes Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
And then runs into Kirsten Dunst on the way out of the store and just keeps running.
Right.
So then she clearly recognizes him.
Yeah.
From his eyes.
Right.
And because he's wearing a mask. And Lakeith Stanfield says, okay, well, I got all your documents ready. You have to leave tomorrow on Christmas Day. And you got
to do this. I got people there to help you.
Yeah.
You were going to end up in Venezuela.
But basically, you just have to leave.
This is also 2004.
You cannot say goodbye to anybody. You can't stop on the way to the airport. You can't do anything.
The only thing you need to do is cover your tracks.
Right.
And so including...
Burns down a dentist office.
Burns down a dentist office because he had gone and gotten dental care and that had his records. So he burns down the dentist office, is driving out of town, is on the road to the Charlotte airport, gets a call from Kirsten Dunst.
The most obvious trap of all time since Admiral Akbar.
Since Admiral Akbar, yes.
And he falls for it, of course. So he goes to have Christmas dinner with Kirsten Dunst one last time before he leaves. And of course it's a trap and the cops just grab him. And they put him in jail. And
then he realizes, maybe I shouldn't have been stealing money to buy people's affections. Maybe what they really wanted was me. Was like, yeah, motherfucker.
The point is, this is a true story about a person who was clearly not a good person.
Not in the slightest.
Absolutely hurt people left and right, manipulated, robbed, cheated, stole, etc., but clearly had a lot of charisma and was able to just kind of charm his way through a lot of things. And so the movie makes him into this innocent family man who's just trying to do right by all these kids.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh gosh, wouldn't you know it, the world is just not meant for a family man.
Mm-hmm. So I just have to steal $50,000 from Toys R Us. Like, let me tell you, if a movie ends up making me feel sympathetic for a mass corporation, you know something went wrong with this movie, right? Like,
I don't feel any sympathy for Toys R Us.
I don't have any sympathy for Toys R Us, but it's like, you know, like
poor lamented Toys R Us.
You know, like Toys R Us got screwed over in the big way. Like this $50,000 clearly is not why Toys R Us doesn't exist anymore, but that's exactly it, right? Like, you know, we're like concerned about and like judgmental of this guy who's stealing $50,000 at a time when, like, you know, I forget which private equity company basically stole Toys R Us. Right?
Okay.
And stole all those buildings and stole the whole shebang-a-bang.
And like,
whatever. Not even allegedly. That's the business model, you know?
All
like,
right.
But you just don't call it stealing, right? But, you know, so, yeah. But, that you know, then somehow in this movie, I am so annoyed by this man that I'm like, do we need to steal $50,000 from Toys R Us? Like, do we need to steal $50,000 from Peter Dinklage? Like, ugh. Man.
Yeah,
you know,
clearly
and it's like
a sociopath and a criminal.
Exactly. And like how many people like end up dead in the process of doing something infinitely less significant. And it's just like, oh yeah, that person is like trash. Like we don't need to like make a movie about them, right? Like, and this guy we're going to make a movie about, right? Like he tried to break out 2 more times. He's still in jail. He's still alive. Like, you know, like, yay. You know, the end of the movie. Oh God, I think I have something in my teeth. The end of the movie has all these like live action, either news stories from the time when he was committing his crimes, or interviews with the actual people that are represented in the movie.
And they show you a picture of Channing Tatum, and they show you a picture of the real guy. And blah, blah, blah.
Just like,
yeah.
And what am I supposed to come away with here? Whatever message I think you're giving me is not one I particularly care for. And it's like, the message is human beings are really easily manipulated. I am in that bucket, I suppose.
No, that's the message.
We have this desire to be manipulated, and we seem to enjoy it.
So, as I said, walking out of the theater, that would have made a much better documentary.
Yes.
And I think that would have gotten into the tension of this. Of like, this guy, as charming as he was a sociopath. And
is.
Sure. And, you know, I don't know the guy. I don't know the story. I'm certainly not, you know, whatever. But he just, you know, based on what we have here, it's pretty easy to see that he was a manipulator and a weirdo and just a creep. And a documentary would be much better at showing you the nuances of that.
Mm-hmm.
What we get here is charming Channing Tatum at his most personable,
dancing around a superstore,
making this guy look good. And it's just like, why are we doing this? If you're going to tell the true story, tell the true story. If you want to make a story about a charming criminal who ends up courting Kirsten Dunst, make something up. You don't need the real story to give gravitas to this very silly romance.
Yeah. You know, the other thing I didn't bother to look up is who got paid for this story, right? Like I'm assuming North Carolina doesn't have like a, you know, criminals can make money from the story.
No, but the movie is dedicated to, I think, the guy's father who is passed, and it's in memory of his father, I think. And
it's somebody with the same last name. It could be his son.
Sure.
I mean, we don't know.
We don't know.
Right?
It's somebody who passed. So clearly somebody in the family got paid for this. So it's like somebody sold the life rights, and that's how that worked out.
Right, but I mean, it could also be a reporter. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to buy the story from someone who's actually involved. They probably did buy the story from somebody who's involved, but I don't remember noticing in the credits.
There's no way for us to know anything.
Well, I mean, we could have looked it up. It's just interesting.
Okay.
I didn't see it in the credits.
All right, so yeah. Again, it's not the worst movie we've ever seen. It was okay. There were parts that I actually kind of enjoyed, but I think on the whole, it was just not deep enough for what it was trying to be.
Yeah, I think I might have enjoyed it more if it were purely fiction. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
then
Or
it's
if it was a
like-
documentary.
or if it was a documentary.
Yeah.
But yeah.
because it's trying to straddle those two fences, that almost makes sense. It kind of just falls down the middle.
Yeah, but you did get to see Ben Mendelsohn and Uzo Aduba as a
Youth pastor,
married couple, not youth pastor, the pastor and the first lady of church in North Carolina,
singing duets. Yeah.
singing, lots of singing. It was
Lots of Christian duets.
It was hilarious. I loved
Okay.
that.
I'm
I
glad
just thought
you
that was.
enjoyed
I thought
that.
that was just so amusing casting. Like, I would not put the two of them together and put the two of them together as American Christians. You know, like
Yeah.
yeah.
I liked the thirsty middle-aged woman
Yes, I don't know who that was. I
who
don't know
kept
who that
trying
actress.
to drag him into the church.
Mm-hmm. Who was successful at dragging him into the church, but for Kirsten Dunst, not for herself.
Yeah. Okay. It's okay. I think we're done with this one.
We had an evening out.
We had an evening out, and we didn't walk out of the movie.
And we didn't walk out of the movie.
There have been some Monday mystery movies that we walked out on.
There is a mystery movie next week, and if it is the movie that we saw a trailer for, and I was like, if this is the movie, I am definitely walking out. Okay. So come back next week and see if we walked out of the mystery movie.
Okay. So until next time.
Farewell.
Bye.